You're watching Scene TV, and I'm Maya McNulty, your host, Schenectady Cable Entertainment News and Events. And next on our show, I'd like to welcome Megan Podrasik. Welcome, Megan, to the studio.
Thank you for
It's such a
having me.
pleasure to have you here.
Yes, pleasure being here.
So tell us what's going on. You have a little boy, Anthony. Tell us about Anthony.
Well, Anthony's 4.5 years old. Okay, he was born in Albany at St. Peter's Hospital with a very special medical condition, and it's called neurocutaneous melanosis and giant cape-like melanocytic nevus. Covers almost 83% of his body. It's 1 in a million, very rare. When he was born, he was actually put in ICU isolation. And we were not allowed to touch him, go near him, nothing. And we sent out his case to several different places and hospitals all over the place, all over pretty much the U.S. Our only response back that knew what the condition was Columbia Presbyterian Hospital in New York City, and offered to take his case.
Yeah. Well, give me a little bit of history on yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. And
I'm 24 years old. I've been in the restaurant business my whole life. I started my own pizzeria and deli when I was 17. That's where I had Anthony during the time I was having my own pizzeria and deli. Then I met a great family, actually the Palmatier family, and I started working for them after Anthony was born. When he was born, it was very hard to own your own business.
Certainly.
And try to make trips to New York City constantly. We were going several times a month when he was first born. After that, we started our own catering company. And ever since then, we've been full-blown caterers. I'm wedding coordinator and event coordinator, so I work all over the place.
What's the name of your company?
Black Tie Events and Catering.
Okay, and where are they located?
We're located right now on 51 Broad Street in the south side of Amsterdam.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about how you found and diagnosed Anthony's condition.
Well, when I was pregnant with Anthony, they had no idea. They actually thought that he had Dandy Walker syndrome and that he had hydrocephalus, which he does currently have hydrocephalus. It's just asymptomatic. So when I was high-risk pregnancy, we went and saw several doctors, and a lot of doctors said that, it's probably going to progress worse. He has a very small chance of living, and that we should probably start to prepare ourselves for what could happen when he was born.
What's obviously Anthony's here in the studio today, and we'll definitely get a shot of him. What's been difficult with Anthony with getting along with other kids, or maybe he's just a normal little boy like everyone else?
Anthony is extraordinary. Everybody says their child's extraordinary.
Yes.
Everybody thinks their child's special. Everybody's child is special. I guess in Anthony's case, he really touches everyone that he sees and speaks to. He's very special. He's very happy. His spirit is amazing. Growing up so far, the difficulties we've had is, bring him to the grocery store in shorts. People thinking that my child has bruises all over him. People saying, oh, excuse me, your child has mud on him. Or things that are very strange that if my child looked like he had some type of mental disability or something like that, or you would never go up to a child in a wheelchair and say that, oh, your child has food on his face or there's something wrong. It's just very disrespectful and strange how he's not socially acceptable. His spots all over his skin, lots of children stare at him, lots of adults stare. We did Make-A-Wish. And I think that was probably the breaking point for me as a parent to go to the front of the lines with your child, and people were staring directly at his neck and his skin and whispering and pointing and continuously staring. And I'm a single mom. I've been doing this alone now for 2.5 years. And to be there by yourself and for people to look at you and look at him and think that there's something just wrong with his skin or it looks contagious or odd like that. A lot of people think it's contagious. He's not contagious. He just we all have beauty marks, right? And he has special beauty marks from God that cover a lot more of his body than a standard person.
So what keeps you so strong and alive?
He does, actually. He's super fun. He loves everything. He loves music and he loves to dance, and he doesn't do a lot of things like normal children do. He spends a lot of time doing fun adult things, but bringing that kid aspect to everything. He's always happy, really. Majority of the time, he woke up from anesthesia in the hospital from this last decompression surgery, and he rolled over his little head, and he said, "Can I have some chips, please?" And everybody just started laughing. Like, who would want chips? He can barely move. He can't move his lower body. He's had a lot of sedation, so all he can do is move his head slightly, and he just wanted chips. That's it. So the doctor says, well, he's NPO. I said, well, okay. And then they brought him in a bag of chips and let him eat the chips. And he was much happier after that. You know, and we had a fake doctor kit for him that he brings around everywhere and has Dr. Anthony on it. And his little own doctor coat that he has. And he likes to play on the nurses. And, and that's just how he is all the time. He gets blood work and IVs.
Even as a little kid, or even my daughter, we had a little doctor kit too, and they loved it because it's pretend, you know, and it's great.
Yeah, I like him to be a part of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the true sign of being a real kid, honestly. So tell us a little bit more about the melancytic nevosis?
Nevus. Now, the nevus is the actual raised skin. Now, when he was born, it looks like a full cape. Literally like Superman. I tell him that's his Superman cape all the time. It covers from the parts of his neck all the way down to his back. Now, on that, when he was born, there was large raised lumps. And the raised lumps were immediately needed to be removed due to it could be extremely cancerous. Now, this condition, majority of children develop skin cancer. Now, we've just tried everything we possibly can, and they, tell you to keep them fully clothed, turtlenecks and pants and things, obviously, in the summertime. That's a little unrealistic. He has little wetsuits that he wears and things like that.
Does he ever get blistery from the sun?
No, what happens is it's the best way I describe it to everyone. It's like a frail old woman's skin or old man's skin, It's easily bruised, easily tears, easily bleeds, easily can be infected, anything like that. And basically what we have to do is we just have to treat him as if, he was an older person who can't, could be caught on something easily.
Yeah, he's very fragile.
Bleed easily, yes. Yeah. Fragile skin. When he was little, we took tube socks and put pads in them and made homemade knee pads so he would be able to crawl, learn how to crawl because he has nevus on his kneecaps. And the nevus would tear off of his kneecaps. So then, that's always been a concern of ours. I have to treat it. I have to do skin checks, every bath time and things like that.
How often do you do treatment for Anthony?
Well, the issue is that there is no actual treatment. There's experimental treatments. There's operations that are experimental. What we've done so far is things that were only absolutely medically necessary for Anthony.
Okay. And why is that? Why haven't you just said, this is my son, he needs your help, can you diagnose this as other children? Is there any other data to compare to?
Yes. To be honest, with Anthony's condition, it's majority a appearance thing.
Okay.
Anthony's condition is not. His appearance is the least of our worries.
Okay.
If you go on to nevus.org, or if you start to look at these other types of children's stories, they are eligible for skin expanders, skin grafting, surgical removals, laser removals. He's ineligible for all of those things. Internally, the condition is moved to his internal parts.
Okay.
So now, for us to treat the actual nevus itself would be a waste of time.
Okay.
That's not important.
So has it affected his spine?
Yes, Anthony has a cyst, which is a large mass at the T7 part of his thoracic spinal cord. Now, on that part of his spine, there is fluid buildup. And the fluid buildup is now compressing his spinal cord inwards. And at the back of his head is another mass, which is a hardened cyst. Now, in that area also, the fluid collection cannot flow properly. So a normal child or somebody who would have a cyst in their brain would get a shunt. Now, he's ineligible for a shunt because a shunt goes certain under layers of the skin, and they've explained to us that it could easily be rejected due to the type of skin that he has. Another option would be a manual shunt where they could go in and actually operate to keep the brain flowing. The only issue with that is it's open brain surgery. Is it absolutely necessary? Again, when it comes to be absolutely necessary, we can come to that point.
Okay.
I try to work very closely with his doctors as far as learning everything that they show, how to read his scans, how to do everything as if I was sitting in their position. They have to operate on a little boy and open him up. Is it absolutely necessary?
Okay.
Is it going to really help him or not? So that's the nevus part. The congenital nevus is a major part of his life on his appearance, his psychological development, and things like that.
Okay. Tell us about the cost.
The cost. Okay. Well, Anthony, when he was born, he was considered... Basically, he didn't have insurance when he was first born. I didn't have insurance. Again, we were business owners. Certainly wasn't something that was, on our top priority. New York State does make sure that every pregnant woman is taken care of, and obviously until you deliver and afterwards. At first, we had some issues trying to retain a type of insurance. Finally did retain Medicaid, which then moved us to the disability program. The only thing is that since it's such a rare condition, they don't have an area of funding for that. There's an
Okay.
area of funding for autism and things that are a little more generic as
So-
far as medical conditions. In his case, the funding's not there. There is
Okay.
no made up type
Right.
of
So
fund
how
to help
are
him.
you getting funding? Because
So
this is
the-
serious.
There isn't. There is no funding to say, here's orthotic shoes for Anthony. Here is, funding
So if
to
you're an
drive back and
orthopedic
forth.
company, you should really look for Anthony's story and help him out.
Yes, yes. We have, there's no
How,
wheelchair.
how can we get in touch with you? Let's do that. How?
Okay, well, to get in touch with me, the best way is my email,
Okay.
which is megpedrazik@gmail.com.
Okay.
Do you want me to spell that?
No, I'm going to put that out on the
Okay.
site, but let's talk about that because I definitely want people to reach out and help you if they possibly can. They're looking for someone to help. You'd be great, and Anthony would be great. So obviously the treatment and not having insurance and doing all these fundraising events and things. You have a fundraising event coming up. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we do. April 5th at the Amsterdam Elks Lodge. It's at the end of Vanderveer in Amsterdam. We are having it's a kind of like a family fun day. Now, being an event coordinator, I do a lot of different types of events, and I've done several charity events for breast cancer, the American Heart Association, all these types of things close to home.
And it's time for them to give back to you.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to do is I really want to bring everyone together. But what I've learned from all these events is all the things not to do. I want to appeal to everyone. I want to appeal to the family. I want to appeal to the single guy, to the older man, to the housewife, to everyone, to be able to enjoy themselves and come and have a good time, and also to raise awareness and understand his condition.
Who are you sharing your story with? Because this is such a compelling story. Why are we not hearing about this?
To be perfectly honest, again, I'm a private person to myself. I've always kept to myself. Majority of people didn't even know that my child was ill. I had no idea, actually. I've always kept things to myself. I always thought that I could just do it alone. And after this last
There's
operation,
strengths in numbers, girl.
yeah, after this last
It's okay.
operation,
People
I
wanna
couldn't
help.
believe
They
it.
really do. They want to help.
They do, and I've noticed this now. All these people that are calling me and emailing me and asking what they can do and can they volunteer and can they make things, and it's fantastic. And I never really realized it, I guess, because I've always worked for someone or, we're doing this to get paid. Basically, was my life. I never was really on the other end.
Yeah, well, Hillary Clinton, she's famous for Takes a Village, and your community's here. You should really reach out and, ask, because if you don't ask, nobody's going to know. And I think you really should do that. So, what are some of the fun things that you like to do with Anthony?
Kayak is our big thing. Boating, we like to spend a lot of time outside, and I like to let him know that it's okay to do all these things and to be a part of everything and to try as much as you can to do things. He wants to jump off the dock like all the other kids. Well, maybe he's a little scared, or maybe because he falls a lot, or his balance and coordination isn't there. So everybody comes and helps him with the little kids, everybody. So that's a big part of our summertime events. During the winter, it's kind of difficult. He's not an outside person during that time, but we really just love outdoor activities. Really is our thing. He loves to swim. He loves to be in the water. He loves to fish. So he has actually right now. We have a small, lime green kayak that we take out everywhere, and he has a little Superman fishing pole that he hangs off the side as mommy kayaks all around. And he sits right in the middle with me. Now he's gotten a little larger, so we're looking into a tandem kayak so he can have his own area and his own seat, and be a part of everything.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's his passion. He has his own little fishing hat and his little gear, and he's ready to go.
Adorable. Has he ever caught a big fish?
No, you know
Yeah.
why? Because he doesn't have enough patience, like most children. 2 seconds later, it's reeled back in. I'm confused. I said, "Why did you bring it in?" Because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, or I was hoping that there's that big fish at the end of our
Yeah,
pole.
but it just didn't tug. We didn't know what happened.
It's funny. So, what are some other things that you guys like to do that's fun?
He loves music, so I try to do a lot. We spend a lot of time together and a lot of time at home. We read a lot. Dr. Seuss, he absolutely loves Dr. Seuss. I actually just recently wrote a letter to the publishing company in regards to a book that they have, and it's called Put Me in the Zoo. And this is actually really cool. It's a book about an animal that wants to be put in the zoo that has spots all over him, and he wants to be put in the zoo and he feels like he belongs there. And this whole time he's trying to convince the boy and the girl that he needs to be in the zoo because of look what he can do, and Anthony just loves the book because it makes him feel, he wants to be a part of everything, and this animal wants to be a part of everything also, just like his spots. But he's different. So the whole story is obviously they're teaching them it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
And then they find a place for him. He belongs in the circus because look at everything that he can do, and he should entertain everyone, and everyone should be able to see
steal
him.
the show.
So, and that's, that's a big part of him too. He loves to read. So
That's a great story. So I want to get people involved so that they can come to the fundraiser, and it's going to be at the Amsterdam Elk Lodge on April 5th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yes.
The tickets are $25 a
Yes.
ticket, and all the proceeds go to Anthony's care for his travels to and from New York City.
yes, and actually what I'm looking to do, which is something recently that just came up, we've been speaking about how there's no organization, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, for single parents.
Okay.
There's
With
nothing.
single parents with children with
With
disabilities?
disabilities,
Okay.
yes. The issue is that when we go to these places, and even the Ronald McDonald House is a fantastic foundation. The hospital that we go to, Sloan Kettering, Columbia Presbyterian, all these places, but nothing is geared towards if you were alone. How do you carry all your bags, and how do you get from one place to the other, and do you have to catch a taxi, or how do you leave to go to the bathroom, or to go for a walk, to clear your head while your son's in the operating room? All these things are geared if you were there with you and your mother, you and your husband. And that's a difficult situation. So I feel like if we could do something to start something like that, and some type of awareness for people and other moms like me.
Yeah, well, you could be an advocate, could start. So this hits home.
Start something, yeah.
Yeah, that's how things get started. I mean, even with our show here, Scene TV, we're focusing on news and events that's happening in and around the capital region and getting people's stories heard that would not have normally been heard. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm glad that we're linked to charities and giving back to them. So I'm really grateful for our show and the people that we have on them. And so if you have a voice, you could have it heard, and you just have to do it. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I'm definitely all for it, and I'm definitely for trying things new all the time. That's a part of what I do for a living.
And you are a single mom.
Yeah.
You've got a lot going on. You're carrying 3 jobs. You've got a son that really needs you right now. And how have your friends and family been with the support?
They've been good, as much as everybody can. I have fantastic friends and family, and I have a lot of people who are our friends that are family. They are our close family. They're our aunts and our uncles and our other moms and other dads, just like my bosses are the same way. They're like another set of parents. And that's kind of how we are. I don't really have many distant friends and things like that. We're just like one big group, I guess is the best way to explain
What have you learned from this journey so far?
I guess what I've learned is to stay extremely positive, because your child, whether they're sick, whether they are perfectly healthy, they can see and they can understand and they can feel everything that's going on. And everything that you show to your child is either going to make or break them. It really makes them who they are. And I strongly believe that how you act and how you portray yourself and how you treat them and what you give to them and on an emotional level, not in a physical, not in materialistic things, those things are meaningless. They are not forever. And I think that really makes who you are to your child, and that makes them. That has made me be able to strong through this whole thing, and that's what I've learned the most, is to really be who you are and to be truthful to them.
So what are you doing for yourself to keep your sanity and your positive attitude?
Well, that's a good question. Not much right now. I guess my time to myself is I really do love to work. I do. I spend a lot of times with my brides. It's the same way, and people say, oh, well, you need to take a break from work, or you need to go do this, or you need to go do that, and
Are you keeping yourself too busy to not let yourself? Because I'm thinking that you might just crash if you so. And
well,
I don't mean that. I don't mean that negatively either.
No, I understand.
I'm just saying that we all need somebody to outlet to, And what are you doing to outlet yourself?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Not yet.
Not yet. I haven't really gotten that far yet. I used to go to the gym once in a while. I think what's difficult is you try to balance a schedule and you try to have someone watch your son for a little while. I don't really have a lot of people that are close, I guess, and I don't like to impose on other people's lives either. And I have some close people who are constantly inboxing me, and saying, well, when I get out of work, I can stop over for a couple hours and watch Anthony, and I'm just starting to let go in the way that I can't be there 24/7. It's impossible.
What's been the most difficult with this whole journey?
I guess the most difficult is the most difficult is not showing him that I'm upset. That's the biggest challenge I have all the time. Not to cry in front of him, not to show him that I'm not as weak as I was before the doctor came in to say what he had to say. That's been the hardest part of everything is being me all the time for him. And a lot of people say, like, it's a show you put on, I guess, every day. And it's not. The show you put on is at nighttime for yourself when he goes to sleep, That my only time to myself is when he's tucked into bed. We sleep together. I people will have lots of things to say about that, He wants me there all the time, and when he wakes up, he wants to know that I've been right there too. So giving up everything that I've ever been my whole life is definitely a very hard part. Giving up a career. I can't have the career maybe that I completely wanted or work for the people I, always wanted to or do these things with my life. And obviously now I'm happy, but that's probably been the hardest to really realize that you could have been all these places or you could have done all these things and then you can't, you can't.
What advice do you have for a single mom or dad that's going through similar situations that you're going through?
I guess my advice is that stop thinking about yourself for a little while. And if you feel real upset or you're not as strong as you could be, or it's not about you. It's not. It's about them. And once you make it about them and everything is okay and you're relaxed and you're acceptable and you understand it and you accept it, then you can make it about you. I think that the hardest part is when he was first born, even his father and I, it was about us. Why me? Why did God do this to us? Or why is my son like this?
Putting blame
on everyone all the time, and it's not that we did anything wrong, and I want everyone to know that too. It's not even a genetic thing. They have no idea what causes this. It's not something.
So you're born with this.
There's families of 5 children and 1 child. The middle child has this condition, and the other 4 children are completely healthy.
Do you know how many children in the United States have?
I don't have an exact number, actually, of how many. Of congenital nevus, there's millions. Of small portions. The actual Cape-like nevus is 1 in a million. It's so rare. Same with bathing trunk nevus, which is the opposite of being above the cape. It's around the trunk of the child. It's extremely rare. A lot of children don't live very long with the condition. So for him to be at this age and for them to really see him progress like this is fantastic. He's our little miracle.
How are his other organs? Because his spine it needs to be tapped, so drained. But how are the other organs?
Well,
does it affect?
It's obviously affecting his ability to walk properly. And our biggest thing was when they opened him up on his spinal cord, they inserted to do an internal ultrasound of the spinal cord. And after the procedure was done, the surgeon came in to tell us that they've never seen anything like this. We want to show you a video. And he actually pulled out his iPhone, and he says, I had the nurse take a video of this because I couldn't believe it. This is remarkable. If you look at it, there's his heart, and it's beating. And every time his heart beats, you see the spinal cord push, and it's going like this every single time. So for the past however long the spinal cord...
it's almost encroaching on...
Yes, and as it's going and as every beat, it's pushing it back. So they said it's just like a rubber band motion over and over and over again. And they said we cannot believe that he looks like this, that he's healthy like this. This is fascinating. And when they opened it up, the actual black nevus was on the insides of the spinal cord.
Okay.
It's growing all internally. So normally, neurocutaneous melanosis is the white matter, which grows all over the insides of his body. Now that's something that's common in this case. To see the actual moles grow inside of the spinal cord walls is incredible. It's something that they've never seen that.
Wow.
Pathology reports were taken right away, obviously, and sent out. And, and there's a great doctor, her name's Dr. Cuckoo, and she does a lot. I think she's seen a small handful of cases, and she's considered an expert on this.
And this is what hospital in New York City?
That's Sloan Kettering Hospital.
Okay.
So.
And how often do you go there?
Well, when he was first born, we went a lot more. We frequent sometimes twice a month. Then we were going once a month, and now we're about every 2 months. So every 2 months he'll go down and he'll get a full, scan of his body. They'll go through everything. Then we'll go to Albany Med, and every 3 months he has a full body MRI, full brain and spinal cord. Then that information gets sent down to New York, and everyone reviews it.
Based on all the treatment and is he healing or is it getting worse?
What they're saying is right now is as he grows, it's growing. So a lot of times the doctors beat around the bush with me constantly and try to
It's
put...
a tough thing, really.
It is, and I understand, you
Tough night,
know,
don't just
so
come back and tell
I
a parent.
have done the sit down and give it to me straight, please. You know, I'm the only one here. There's no one in the
You're
room.
ready.
Please just tell me, you
Come
know.
ready.
And how they explained it was that, you know, it's obviously he's a miracle that of how far he's come already. If he continues at the rate that he's going and the growth on the spinal cord continues at that rate and the fluid and the nevus and everything else, he's going to progressively get worse and worse to the point where they said, you know, seizure activity and things like that will start to happen. Once that happens, there's very little to do afterwards. Hopefully, you know, he stays like this as long as possible. They don't know. Again, cases don't live this long and look this amazing and act this great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So Anthony's 4 years old. Will he be going into kindergarten at 5 years old, or are you going to be homeschooling?
I want
what's
to
your plans?
homeschool. Is that something that I think I can do? Yes. Is it something I think I should do? I don't know. I'm really torn.
Given the sensitivity of his skin, I don't know.
I don't know
It's a tough
either.
one.
Do I take him out of the real world and shelter him more than I already do? Or do I let him experience some type of life? Do I let other children be a part of that? Children are very cruel. You know, do I want to open him up to that? In some ways, to be honest, I think it might be good for other children. My son, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He'll tell you how it is. These are my spots from God. What about it? You know, he doesn't.
Good attitude.
Yeah, it doesn't bother him. You can stare at him all day. He'll just smile at you. So he's not sensitive in that way.
Okay.
So I'm not sure yet. Right now he's in Whispering Pines Preschool, which is absolutely fantastic. He does a few hours. I think it's 4 hours on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. He's there about that time. I just want to get him into being with other
Oh,
children
yeah,
and being.
socialization is very important.
And I really enjoy it, and I love the teachers there, and actually they're very involved with him
good.
and you know, his benefit. And there's pictures of him everywhere, and you know, they absolutely just adore him. And every day we come in, it's like Anthony's here, you know. So he again makes a lasting impression on everyone he meets.
Yeah. Teachers, they are amazing. They are amazing. What a gift from God they are. So tell us about the event that you're hosting at the Amsterdam Elks Lodge on April 5th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's $25 a ticket, and what else is included?
Okay, so with $25, there's food all day from 11 to 8 o'clock. It's fully catered by Black Tie Events and Catering, which is our catering company. All the food has been donated so far to actually cater the event with a very extensive menu. It's going to be fantastic. There's also going to be staff from His Own Hospitality to really come down and give us the full effect and great dining experience. On top of that, there's going to be tons of events for the kids. We have face painting, balloon twisting. We have tie-dye t-shirts, which are actually coming tie-dyed with the Got Spots logo.
Anthony, you're on Scene TV.
Say hi.
Tell us, what's your favorite toy to play with?
What's your favorite toy?
You don't know? Okay. What's your favorite color?
Oh, what's your favorite color? Tell them that.
Pink and purple.
Oh, pink,
Pink
and purple.
Awesome. You want to wave to everybody on Scene
Say
TV?
hi.
Hey, everybody.
Wave.
I'm on Scene TV.
Can you wave? You don't know how to wave.
You're adorable. Thanks for being on
Did you
Scene
say thank
TV.
you for having me?
Thank you for being on Scene TV.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Pumpkin.